Hello to everyone. Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message for you all in regards to the exposure of the schemes of the karmic spiritualist. Okay. Now, we're currently in year 7, 2023 adds up to the number 7. Number 7 is a number of spirituality. Okay. And so many people will be seeking answers, seeking truth, gaining clarity about spirituality, what their purpose is here, what spirituality means, what does that connection to the Most High mean, that connection to your spiritual team, who you are as a spirit having a human experience. There will be lots of people that's going to be seeking answers in regards to that particular area of their life, which is very, very important. And so, as a result of this, we'll find that a lot of those, first of all, anyone who is a spiritualist, whether you're on the good side or the bad side, because there's a polarity to everything, will certainly be, will benefit from the needs of those who are just kind of groping for answers in the darkness. Okay. Now, where things could kind of go left is for those people who are at a crossroads and that don't quite understand what it means to take the road less traveled, especially if you find yourself questioning the religious belief systems that have been passed down to you from one generation to the next. And then you end up at this crossroads trying to figure out, well, where do you go? What do you do? And at that point, generally you are more prone to spiritual attack. Okay. Largely because at that point, you don't know where you stand spiritually. And so you don't have a direct source that you reverence, or you don't really recognize the power that you possess spiritually. And so being at that crossroads can be quite scary. And so the energy of fear is what actually gives low vibrational entities the right environment within your temple to create spiritual attacks and to wreak havoc in your life. And so at that point, a lot of times people will, in their fear, they'll go seeking. Some will land in the hands of the karmic spiritualist, and this is who we're going to be talking about today. Now, we'll be doing a reading towards the end, well, after I get done with this particular part, just to see what that energy looks like when you go to these karmic spiritualists. And so I want to start off by telling you what that means. Now, a karmic spiritualist, obviously, we are not going to discount the fact that karmic spiritualists exist within the religious community as well. Okay. It's not just those who are outside of religion, but also within the religious community. You have karmic spiritualists, and these are people who operate from a very low vibrational place in spirituality. They use people's weaknesses to their advantage. They take advantage of it. They misuse their position of so-called authority in these people's lives, because quite often when a person is running to someone who they deem as being more spiritual than them because they're at a crossroads or they have not fully recognized their own power, then they see that person as having something that they do not possess. And so they end up placing their trust in the advice and the suggestions of that person who is behind, their mask, a karmic spiritualist. And so these karmic spiritualists definitely, they lure in and they feed off of the energy of people who are in a blind state spiritually. And so a lot of times, whether it's in religion or outside of religion, when it comes to spiritualists, they are very greedy. Okay. um Money is the ultimate goal for these karmic spiritualists. And so they'll tell you things like, okay, well, I see that you have, if we're talking about religion, okay, you have a demon on you, and I'm going to get this demon off of you. And if you just give your life over, to this God, which they reference as Jesus, or whichever, wherever you are religiously. But most of the time, that's where people come from, that particular conditioning structure. And they'll say, okay, but after that, you give your life over, and they do anticipate that you will become their sheep, and they will be your shepherd, and surrounding you will be their gatekeepers who are monitoring you and making sure that you don't get out of line, because the moment that you begin to ask too many questions, then they say they have to put you back to sleep, or they need to create fear tactics, threaten you with the gates of hell and things of that nature to keep you in place. And every Sunday, what they expect from you is your tithes and your offerings. And so many people get caught up in the religious structure when they go seeking a way to get that dark, low vibrational energy off of their back, and they find that they shell out thousands of dollars when they look back over time. If every Sunday, you got 2 Sundays, 2 sessions, or 2 sermons, on any given Sunday, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and then throughout the week you have various programs and things of that nature, and each time there's a basket being handed around for offerings and tithes. When you count up the amount of money that you've shelled out, a lot of people end up giving away thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's one example of a karmic spiritualist, because those people likely still walk out of those church doors feeling powerless and not recognizing their own internal power and their ability to heal themselves through the authority of the Most High God. This is a part of your birthright, to be able to bring in and harness in that energy and power and authority that the Most High has naturally given you, and to dive deep within yourself and to heal those wounds. You don't need someone coming saying, I'm going to lay hands on you and make you pass out and foam at the mouth and do the chicken wing, and then suddenly you're free. And wait, let's not forget, you better give your life over too. Okay, give yourself away as a living sacrifice. All your dreams, all your plans, Lord, you place it in his hands, right? You give yourself away. So you're also saying you are a willing sacrifice. And so now you've given every part of your power away to this Lord, right? And you have also given a lot of your finances away to this shepherd, this pastor, who is a large part of the gatekeeping structure. Now, outside of religion, then you move into the spiritual community. Quite often, I find that there's lots of people who come to me seeking readings because they are at a crossroads in their life spiritually, and they're going through some spiritual attacks. They're going through some spiritual warfare, and they'll tell me, hey, I went to the spiritualist, and they told me that they saw some dark energy around me. And they told me if I just pay them $1,000, $2,000, one person, they said up to $6,000, then they could take this dark energy off of me and I will be free. And I paid them, and some people will say, well, they never called me back. They never answered the phone when I tried to find out, well, what's going on, what needs to happen. And then others, they'll say, well, they said they did this and they did that, but my life has been in straight turmoil and hell. And, when I called them back, they told me, oh, well, there's more work that needs to be done. So I'm going to need another 2,000 or 3,000. Okay. These are the karmic spiritualists who take advantage of people in a very vulnerable and, blind state in their spiritual journey. And these are the ones that I'm warning those of you who may see this video now or in the future, depending on where you're at in your spiritual path and you're just seeking answers. Hopefully this warning will give you some guidance to know, or to be able to use your own discernment and to recognize that this is not the energy of a true spiritual being who has come here to carry out their assignment as a light being. Some people call us, well, everybody has different names. I just say I'm a chosen seed, okay? And that I'm here to serve out my purpose. But light workers, some people call them light workers and things of that nature. But whatever a definition you put on it, there's many of us who have assignments that we were given. And we're here to fulfill those assignments, but from a space of integrity, empathy, compassion, love. Okay. But then there's others who are false spiritualists who wear a mask, and they might portray the energy. They might know the language. They might possess the spiritual tools, but they misuse and they abuse the ignorance of those who have yet to awaken. And so during this time in year 7, you will find that those people, they're out here strong, you know, and many of you, you'll see that even in my chat, there's been times where I've seen people leave messages up underneath people's comments, and they'll say things like, hey, you know, I feel that there's a dark energy that's surrounding you. Just send me a message to my inbox so I can tell you how to get rid of it. That's how they lure you in, because likely you may very well be at a dark place in your life. Okay. I'll tell you one of my own personal experiences. When I first, it was probably like the first year that I began to awaken. I was in a very high vibrational energy, and I was asking for change to happen in my life. And change was happening, but it was happening in a way where everything was chaotic. Lots of chaotic energy. I had a child that was suffering through health issues at the time, who's now healed thanks to the Most High Mother and Father. I had, you know, very chaotic energy within my marriage at the time. I was losing financially. Everything within my household was chaotic and just off balance, but I was still evolving spiritually, and I recognized that at that time. And so I went seeking answers because I wanted to know, you know, what can I anticipate moving ahead? Like, this can't be it with all the work that I'm doing, you know. And so I went to a reader. You know how you ride through, you know, I had always passed up this person's home, and they had the sign out there that said psychic readings and things of that nature. I didn't know who was behind the door. I just knew I wanted to seek some answers. And it was my first time doing something like that. And this particular woman, it was an older European woman who answered the door. And looking back now, where I am now spiritually, when I if I would have seen her open up the door today, I would have turned right back around and went to my car and said no, thank you. But in my sleep state, I just felt like, okay, well, she's a reader, and okay, she might look a little creepy, but I need a reading, right? So I went in, and one of the first things she had me do was put my hands out. And she put her hands above mine like this. My hands was like this. And she said, let me just, you know, see your energy. And so she put her hands, they was like this far above mine. And she just, oh, the energy. You know, like she was very, it was almost like she was turned on by highly vibrational my energy was. Okay. Like I said, I was spiritually evolving. So I was learning how to create with my mind. I was getting out into nature in spite of all the crazy stuff that was going on. I was sun gazing. I was listening to frequencies. I was writing my affirmations, listening to affirmations. I was doing everything possible. And so she felt that energy. But mind you, I still was not awakened to my gifts. I had no idea that I would be where I am today. I was still very much so, I was awakening out of sleep. Okay. So she caught me when my vision was still blurry. And so she did the reading for me. She expressed a few things to me. Um, some of them that were accurate, because she did say I was going to be a spiritual teacher and things of that nature, right? But she ended up calling me. This was like a couple of days after I left. She ended up, well, initially before I left, she told me, well, there is a dark energy that's around you. And, you know, I don't know if if you want to maybe look into my additional services, but there is a dark energy around you. And if you want me to, I can help you to get rid of that energy. So I told her, you know, I asked her how much it was. And at the time she had mentioned it was like $500. And I was like, $500? Now, mind you, I'm already going through financial hardships. And so I left, and, you know, it was kind of on my mind, but I was like, I don't know about that. Now, she ended up calling me a few days later, which I found to be kind of odd, because it's like, well, if I'm not seeking you out, then why are you seeking me out? And she said, that's one of the red flags right there. Okay. Actually, that's like the third red flag. Okay. Um, but you want to pay attention to those things. The first one was, her being so turned on by my energy. Second one was her saying that she saw a negative energy and telling me that she was going to charge me hundreds of dollars to remove it for me. And third was her reaching out to me without me initiating this conversation with her. And so she's like, I'm really just feeling like you need to do something about that negative energy. I can help you. And so, because things were actually worsening in my physical environment, I thought about it. It was really something that I was like considering. And so, um, I say about a week passed. I told her I was going to contact her again, and let her know if I changed my mind. About a week passed, and she ended up texting me, and she was like, it's urgent. I really do need to see you. It's something that I need to tell you. And so I'm like, and then she texted me and she was like, have you been seeing the number 555? Now, at that time, I was seeing all types of synchronicities, especially the triple digit numbers. And so 555 was coming up quite often. And now that I have an understanding, 555 deals with change. And so generally, you're going to be going through a lot of changes and a disruption when you're seeing the number five. And so she knew that I had been seeing the number five, and it just blew my mind that she was able to pinpoint that. And so I'm just like, well, maybe this woman, maybe she does know something that I don't know, and maybe she can help me. And so I went to her after she told me she really needed to see me, and she says, I feel like things are going to continue to get worse. I'm urging you to do this. And she was like, I'm going to give you this bath that you could do. It's like a foot bath. And she was like, gave me some recommendations to go around my home and to pray over my home in Jesus' name. That's a fourth red flag. And so I said, okay, well, maybe she means well. But she was like, I really want you to think about paying the $500 though, because there's something additionally that I need to do that's far more powerful and is really going to help you. So I said, okay, went back home, and I had the money already. And I was really considering, like, should I go ahead and give this woman this money? What she told me to do was go and buy a black cloth. So I went to Hobby Lobby and I bought some black material, buy a black cloth. And she said, take the $500, put it in the cloth, fold the cloth up. And I want you to take that black cloth and I want you to rub it all over your skin from head to toe. And then when you're ready to pay me to do the work, I want you to bring me that black cloth with the $500 in place. Thought about it and I thought about it and I thought about it. And I was like this close, y'all. I was this close to doing it, but something stopped me. That was nothing but the Most High God and my spiritual team that said, don't do it. She had anticipated that I was going to come back because, like I said, I was right there. So when I didn't come back, that's when she started calling my phone even more often, until I had to tell her, do not call my phone anymore. I'm not comfortable with it. Don't call my phone anymore. Moving a little bit further down the line, I started learning more about energy, colors, and I learned that the color black it absorbs energy, right? Duh, as a melanated woman, I should have known that. But remember, these are things that we was not taught, in our sleep state. And so the color black absorbs energy. And so what she wanted me to do was put my energy into this cloth with this money, which is currency, which is also energy, right? And she pretty much wanted me to pay her to steal and to siphon my energy, my spiritual gifts, and all of that high vibrational energy that she was so infatuated with when I first walked into her place. That's what she was trying to steal from me. And I recognize it now looking back. And so this is a prime example of what, I know that was kind of long and drawn out, but these are important things that I need to share with you all so that you can at least recognize some of the tactics that these karmic spiritualists use against those of you who are not fully awakened to their agenda. And so never went back to her again. Absolutely would never go back to her again. And so I say this to say, it's very important that you know this. There's many spiritualists who will have different measures that they use, okay? I I had one young lady tell me that a spiritualist told her, "Hey, I'm going to need you to put your car put your car in my name or something like that. That way you don't take any losses financially, so that when you drive, the car is in my name, and so you'll be able to, or I think it was in her name or the other person's name, but she was saying whenever you drive, this is going to keep you safe and protected, right? And so there's so many different crazy ass things that these people come up with. You have to be able to use your discernment and recognize, are you dealing with a karmic spiritualist, or are you dealing with one who is truly chosen, that is operating from true integrity? Okay. And if you don't know the difference, then just pull back completely and wait until you evolve and awaken a little bit more. Doing the work on your own, going within and creating your own personal connection to the Most High and your spiritual team. Because one thing about me as a spiritual a counselor, teacher, leader, whatever definition it is, like I said, I'm chosen, just a vessel, just doing my work. I am the type of person who is going to give you the tools that you need to heal yourself. I would never tell someone, give me $1,000, $2,000, and I'll help you to remove that energy. Never. Because one thing that a spiritualist cannot do is dive deep within to your wounds and help you to heal what is in your head and the visions that you see and the feelings that you feel. What they can do, like Reiki healers or things of that nature, they can peel back a layer, maybe even two. But when it comes to getting to the core of those wounds and doing the work to heal them, you are the one that has to take on that assignment. That's all a part of your evolutionary process. Okay. You're built to heal yourself. Just like your body is naturally built to heal itself, you as a spiritual being having a human experience are built to cleanse your spiritual space and to do the evolving on your own. You have everything that you need, but sometimes you may just need to cross paths with someone who is operating from light, someone who is operating from integrity and love, who is a true spiritualist, to kind of give you a reminder, to kind of remind you of the spiritual tools that you can use. Because all of these things we've been practicing, this is our nature. This is organically, it comes natural to us to work with the elements. It comes natural to us to ground, to sun gaze, and to use the energy of colors and frequencies. This is what we naturally do. But when you get put to sleep by the powers that were, which the majority of us was underneath their spell, their heavy dark magic and spell work, in that sleep state, you forget how to heal yourself. And so you end up groping in the darkness towards anyone that looks like they have just a bit of light, but it's an illusion of light that they're creating. And so you end up like a moth to a flame, drawn to it. And then the moment you get to it, what do they do? It burns you right up, completely devours you and every aspect of your existence. And that's what a lot of these religious structures and these religious leaders have done, as well as the karmic spiritualists. They come in to energy harvest, to steal your gifts. Because this woman that I went to, she was able to show me. She said I would eventually become a spiritual teacher, okay? And that I would have a spiritual school. That's what she said. And so she saw that I had gifts. More than likely, she probably saw the high priestess coming out multiple times, and anything that was in alignment with spirituality, I'm sure that that's what the card showed. But I did not know how to interpret cards at that time, even though they was laid out on the table right in front of me. And so she saw what I could not see. And because of that, it's almost like in the physical realm, when, let's just say you're a child and you have someone who is a guardian, but they're a karmic guardian. They know that your bank account, because your inheritance, somebody left you your inheritance, right? Because your spiritual gifts is your inheritance. So I'm just saying the physical reflection of what this might look like. You're a child, so you're unlearned. You're still growing, you're still maturing, but your guardian, karmic guardian, sees your bank account. They see your inheritance. Your inheritance says $1 million. You have no concept of money. You don't even know what $1 million means. And they tell you, well, you're rich. But when they show you that you're rich, they hand you 50 singles, right? They hand you $50 bills. And you're sitting up there with 50 singles thinking, oh my gosh, I am rich. Meanwhile, they're getting away with 999,000 of your money, and you walking around with $50 because you have no concept of finances. You have no concept of what true riches looks like. And so that's how it is when you go to these karmic spiritualists. They see the potential that you have. And because they're all about siphoning and harnessing and stealing people's spiritual gifts and using you to actually pay for it. So if you're paying for them to do this, in their minds, they escape karma, because it's like, well, in your ignorance, you gave me your money. And so you're paying me to take your gifts. And they think nothing of it, because many of them do not believe in the Most High God. Many of them do not believe that, the pendulum has to swing back. You see what I'm saying? And what they do is they put you further to sleep, because when you approach them, they recognize that you are starting to wake up, but you're still very vulnerable and easily manipulated back to sleep. And so if they do work, they're likely doing something that's going to put you back to sleep, or that's going to create even more karmic energy for you. That way, which would consist of like spell work, dark magic, and things of that nature, doing anything to work up against your relationships, your finances, your health, whatever the case may be. That way you come crawling back to them. So what they might do initially, if they do some work, they might do something to create an illusion, to create some sort of illusion for you, to make you think that life is getting better after they've done this work. But then after a while, that veil, that cloudiness begins to clear, and you start to see the chaos is really still there. It never went anywhere. And now you go crawling back to them saying, well, things are happening. Then they say, oh, well, you know what? I realized that this is what I need to do. And now you find yourself shelling out thousands and thousands of dollars towards these karmic spiritualists. This has to come to an end. So let me just do a quick pull of cards to see what is the energy when you go to these people, these karmic false spiritualists. What are they doing here? What is the energy of you paying these people? What type of energy does this bring into your life when you go to these karmic false spiritualists and pay them your money? Okay, so I'm just going to pull some cards and just see what comes out. Okay, so first card coming out is the Two of Wands. That's the energy of planning something. Then we have here Three of Cups in the reverse. That could definitely be this energy of you might even end up moving closer to like karmic relationships, karmic friends. It's like, it feels like they take you towards this energy of they manipulate you to push you closer to the karmics in your life. That way they're creating, of course, those karmics, those false friends or whatever, will create more havoc, so that you'll have to go back to them. Okay, what energy does it bring? The King of Swords. Let me clarify. What is the King of Swords? The Four of Swords. So for me, when I'm seeing the King of Swords here, the King of Swords can be very cold in their energy and withdrawn. This could also create an energy of having people around you who are colder or more icy in their energy, where you feel like you're at a distance with maybe your partners or the people that you're generally close to. Even looking at this card here with this black bird sitting above his head, it feels like, because I tell people all the time, when you start to see a lot of blackbirds surrounding you, that's usually they're coming to warn you that there is a negative energy that's hovering and likely is being done because of energetic manipulation, which is like spell work and dark magic and things like that. And so it, look at that. As soon as I said it, y'all, Look at this. The Magician is right here. Okay. The Magician and the Ten of Swords. So look at all of these black birds that's right here hovering above her head. That's a lot of betrayal that you're dealing with, a lot of dark, very low vibrational energy that's hovering around this person. And so these birds come in to give warning of spell work with the Magician here. Okay. Y'all just heard me say it, and that's what you saw me pull. And y'all see, I'm not looking at these cards. I just randomly pull them out of the deck because I let it surprise me just like it's surprising you. And so this just confirms what I just said. Be careful of these people because many of them are actually doing spell work behind the scenes to create the dark energy in your life so that you'll come running back to them, seeking their advice, okay? Because the King of Swords can also be someone who advises a person, because you see the owl down here, okay? Seeking their advice on how to get rid of these birds. But as you can see, this bird is perched up here because it's like, they have it reminds me of the video that I did about the Queen is dead, now what? I think that was the name of it. It was about the so-called Queen Elizabeth that passed away. Go check that video out. It's kind of relevant to what we're talking about today, but it just feels like some of you might want to see that one, okay? So I did that a couple of months ago, around the time that she died, so you should be able to find it. Okay, and then look at that. Look at what happens as a result of that. You end up giving these people more of your money in order to remove this dark energy that they're creating around you. You end up paying them constantly, just a never-ending cycle, okay, of paying these people money just for them to continue to do dark magic against you. And look at this. This is really something else. Because what they're doing is, let me show y'all something. In the Magician card, you can see that the infinity sign is being created energetically, right? So they do the magic, and then what happens? They create the energy that keeps you constantly seeking their so-called spiritual assistance, because they're doing this spell work against you, and you keep coming back asking them, okay, but you're giving away all of your finances. That's what they're doing. I don't know what you call that type of spell, but you see the energy, okay? So this is why I'm saying use your discernment, because these people, they're wicked as hell, okay? And then let's see, the sun is in the reverse. See, no happiness. It's like they siphon the sun card. Think about the energy of the sun. The sun is the energy that fuels the entire solar system, at least the one that we're in, because there's infinite numbers of them out there in the universe. But this particular solar system, we have the sun that sits right there in the center that fuels the energy for all of us, okay? When the sun comes out in the reverse, that's siphoning all of your energy harvesting. That's what they're doing. The sun in reverse can also indicate delays in happiness, okay? And also taking away your light. So remember, they want to siphon your energy to keep you in this energy of darkness. They want you to stay in darkness because this light right here illuminates. It illuminates all things. So when that light is shining from within you, you're able to see all of those things that you was once blind to and asleep to. And as you know, even in the 3D, when the sun begins to shine and it's beaming through your window, if you're sleeping, you're going to naturally wake up because that sunlight is bright and it is energizing. And so it's a great way to get you out of bed. If somebody want to wake you up and you in a dark room, what they got to do? Open up those curtains. And then you're like, because that's what the sunlight does. It awakens you. And so on a spiritual level, when they siphon that light from within you and they take away that light, that flame that burns within you, it keeps you in darkness. And then you're not able to see your way through. And so what does a blind person do? They grope in the darkness for someone to guide them. And that's what these people end up doing, using spell work to manipulate you, to keep you in that dark space so that you're codependent on their energy. And I will also tell you this. If you know that you have codependencies in the 3D, meaning you're codependent on people financially, or you're codependent on substance abuse, you're codependent maybe even on sex, pleasure-seeking behavior patterns, codependent on food, codependent on gambling, or anything of that nature, codependent on people's love and approval, then you want to hold back when it comes to just going to someone that calls themselves a spiritualist, because you have to first have a codependency within you. They're going to pick up on that energy when they read your energy. They're going to know that you naturally have codependent behavior patterns. And so a person who has codependent behavior patterns will naturally be a very easy target for these people, because what they'll do is they'll use your weakness and they'll uh, create spell work to actually enhance or to make that weakness even more potent or even stronger, right? And they'll use it to create a codependency so that now you become codependent on them. And from that point, you begin to give them all of your money and you feel like there's nothing that you can do without them. That's the energy that they're creating, okay? It's being shown to me right here, right now. And see, the moon is here in the reverse, okay? Because see, when you begin, because this is someone who's protecting their energy. They don't want you in this space of protecting your energy. As you can see right here, the solar plexus chakra is illuminated. Think of solar rays. That's the same thing as the energy of the sunlight, okay? But remember, their agenda is to keep this in the reverse. So when your solar plexus is in alignment, that deals with your personal power, your strength, your confidence, your courage. Okay, you create those healthy boundaries for yourself and you begin to know that you have the power and the authority and the strength to protect your energy, because you see very clearly that light within you shines bright enough for you to illuminate what is in the darkness and what is hidden. That's why the moon is here in the reverse. Their agenda is to prevent you from doing that. So they siphon your energy, okay? The Knight of Wands is in the reverse. It puts you in this scattered energy where you're just all over the place, very impulsive. They might even do some spell work to create impulsive behavior patterns for you so that you yourself are self-sabotaging. You yourself are doing things in your life where you're not thinking straight and you're just, stumbling over your own 2 feet, creating and wreaking havoc for yourself. And then what happens? You go running back to them saying, but this is going wrong and this is going wrong. And I don't know why I did this. And I feel like something is not right. That's what they're doing. Okay. So I'm going to pull one more card here. What do we have? The Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups, this is someone who's very loving, someone who operates from their emotions. Okay. They can tell when someone is emotionally vulnerable. And so they'll use that to their advantage. They might be able to do a reading on you and sense that they'll be able to pick up even from a distance when you're not talking to them. They might just say, okay, my client over here, all right, this is a good one. I need me some money. So let me read this person's energy. Oh, their emotions are high. They're going through this and that. Well, let me give them a call and just tell them what I see. And the person who's blind on the other end, that's just going through all of these different emotions, they're just infatuated and in awe and feeling like this person possesses some sort of gift to see and to do things that they naturally can't do. So they just, soaking it all up. Yes, I'm going through this. And yes, emotionally. And yes, I'm under spiritual attack and I just don't feel right. My energy doesn't feel right. In that moment, when they look into that person's energy, they're using the same spell work. How can I enhance those emotions? How can I do things while they're in this low vibrational state to work even more so against them so that they will be more, more likely to give me more of their money? These people are wolves in sheep's clothing. So you want to be very careful is the message here. And so I'm hoping that this message brought you all some clarity for those of you who are at a crossroads spiritually. Obviously, this message is not for everyone. Some of you can relate because you might say, well, this was my experience in the past. And please, if you experienced anything even similar, leave a comment below so that those people who are seeking and understanding can hear your testimony, and it might show them the intentions of someone who they might be considering going to, and they're They don't feel right about it, but they can't quite pinpoint why they don't feel right about it. And they're just figuring out what they should do. Leave your testimonies below so that people can see and hear and know that I'm not just talking, okay? It's real. And so a lot of people they end up getting what these karmic spiritualists cannot do is stop destiny, but what they can do is postpone it. When you become codependent on these karmic spiritualists, they can definitely slow down your destiny. And so, whereas you should have been, walking through that gateway, walking to your inheritance, and all of those things that are yours, your birthright, and your sovereignty, and spiritually evolving, you could have probably been there. You'll be way far behind in your spiritual journey, messing with the wrong guidance. So that's my message for you all. And like I said, even when it comes to me, hey, use your discernment. If you don't feel like at this time, well, she's just not the person for me. I've had a couple of people say, they might reach out for a reading and then they'll come back and say, I just feel like it's not a good time. Use your discernment. I'm not going to take it personal. And you doggone sure, I tell y'all right now, you will never see me reach out to you and say, hey, I want to give you my services. So if somebody does that in my name, it's a dang on lie. Don't believe it, because I don't operate from that energy. I know that the Most High Mother and Father is going to send to me whoever they feel needs to hear what they are going to speak through me as a vessel. The Most High has been doing it, and it ain't going to change. So I just know that it would never be me if you get any message like that that's underneath my name. And if you have someone else that comes to you that says, hey, I see your energy, give me X amount of money and I can help you remove it. I don't care what you're going through in your life. Do not fall for the scam, because it's a trap. Okay? These people are pawns of the enemy. It's far greater than what you see. It's even bigger than them. They are pawns being used by the powers that were to come in and to siphon all of your potential energy and your spiritual gifts and to postpone your destiny, while they take that same low vibrational person or that host that's being used, and they siphon. Then they become the vessel that the powers that were uses to feed the beast your energy. Okay, so you create a cord attachment to that karmic spiritualist. That karmic spiritualist is already attached to the beast in the spiritual realm, because they're operating from low vibrational energy, their carnal nature, ego, pride. Okay, and so they already have a direct connection to that energy, the beast of this wicked structure. So they come in and they take your energy. They use it for their own advantage, and then the enemy takes it from them and feeds it to the beast. It's far deeper than what meets the eye. So that's my message for you all. I hope it brought you some clarity. I love you. If you want to have a private reading with me, feel free to email me and we can go through and you can ask whatever questions you need to ask if you find yourself at a crossroads spiritually. What I am going to do as a vessel is give you the tools that you need to heal yourself. And you ain't gonna catch me saying, let me do it for you. That's not my position. So I love you all, and I will talk to you all next time.